trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Let's check in this afternoon with the weather first as we take a live look outside with our sky cam. A really overcast day out there. Chelsea is standing by in the Weather Center. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Doreen. Hi, everyone. We are looking at a lot of clouds outside today. Our temperatures are sitting in the mid-60s range, so it is an overcast, cool day here in southern New England, but a muggy day at that. We're looking at dew points that are in the 60s at the moment. Breezes coming in at the east-southeast around 8 miles per hour. We're looking at temperatures across the area, especially through far eastern areas, only in the 60s. Areas farther to the west are in the mid-70s range, so that's where we're getting a little bit more sunshine. That's also where there's the potential for some stronger thunderstorms today. What we're looking at is the risk of some scattered showers at times. There's a line of heavier rain and thunderstorm activity just off to our west. We're going to be tracking that as we head through the later part of the day today and into the evening hours. Main concern would be some heavy rain, gusty winds, thunder, lightning, all a possibility. I'll have much more on what to expect as we head into the coming hours and days in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Well, a car crashed into a guardrail on Sales Hill Road in North Smithfield. This was just before 9 this morning at the entrance to Eddie Dowling Highway. Police say the driver only had minor injuries and was taken to the hospital to be checked out. This caused a significant traffic backup during the morning commute. No other drivers were involved in the crash. And we now know the names of the two teens from Attleboro killed in a crash over the weekend. Police say 19-year-old Michael Ward and 18-year-old Benjamin Kelly were killed when their car crashed just before 4:30 on South Avenue near West Street early Sunday morning. According to a post on the high school Facebook page, the teens graduated in June. The crash remains under investigation. The Woonsocket City Council holding an emergency meeting this morning to vote on hiring outside representation for one of its council members in an upcoming case against the city's mayor, Lisa Baldelli Hunt. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Tregelis is live in the newsroom with the latest that came out of that meeting. Yanni?
Yeah, Doreen, well, Lisa Baldelli Hunt is accused of committing multiple violations by a council member. And in that meeting earlier today, the city council voted unanimously in favor of hiring legal counsel to represent Denise Sierra, the council member who brought these allegations to light in court.
Councilman Susi? Yes.
The Woonsocket City Council voting unanimously Monday morning.
22R125 is approved 7-0.
To hire outside legal counsel to represent City Councilor Denise Sierra, who earlier this month filed the complaint against Woonsocket Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt, claiming the mayor has committed numerous violations, including not submitting financial reports and violating city ordinances.
This meeting today allowed for a representation specifically for me, separate and apart from the council.
Following the allegations, Baldelli Hunt released a statement calling out Sierra, saying the councilwoman is attacking her during an election year to thrust Baldelli Hunt out of office. Do you think she should still be mayor? Do you think there should be a new mayor of Woonsocket?
That's not my choice. There's 43,000 people in the city that will make that choice. I can't make it for them. I can only bring them what I know, and they can make an educated decision from that point.
Today's emergency meeting called after a state Supreme Court ruling last week put a vote for the removal of Baldelli Hunt on hold and moved the hearing to the state Supreme Court, requiring the city to hire legal representation for the upcoming case against the mayor.
Any counselor is to present a claim for a complaint against another elected official, be it the mayor or a city councilor, that this council shall hear that.
I'm different as a complainant as opposed to the council. And this allows a single attorney to speak on my behalf.
And that Supreme Court hearing is set to start on Thursday, and Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt has denied any wrongdoing on these allegations, but has not made any other public comment. In the newsroom, Yanni Tregelis, ABC6 News.
All right, Yanni, thank you. And now to your voice, your vote. And the Rhode Island Board of Elections started the process of recounting ballots in a number of primary races this morning. There were 9 recounts requested, ranging from elections for state reps and senators to Providence City Council seats. Only 7 of those recount requests will be honored because of the qualifications necessary to qualify. 2 Providence City Council races were refed to voting machines in person at the meeting this morning in wards 3 and 12.
We had a number of different close races, and I think that's really what led to there being such a good crowd. And frankly, I don't blame them. If the results were that close, certainly you'd want to make sure that they were correct. And this is a very public and open process, so we're happy to have whoever would like to be here for that.
The other 5 races in wards 4, 10, and 14, and for state rep in District 57 and 58 were reread on a computer system. As of last check, the recounts are ongoing. ABC6 News reporter Natalie Norrie is at the meeting. She's going to have more on ABC6.com. And in Boston, Orange Line service is back up and running today following a month-long shutdown. The MBTA started the 30-day closure of its second busiest subway line a month ago in order to bring track and signal infrastructure into a state of good repair, while also addressing the safety issues identified by the FTA. During the month-long closure, the MBTA said it replaced 14,000 feet of rail and more than 2,800 rail ties and 3,500 feet of track. The Transit Authority said it also readied 72 new Orange Line cars, an increase from 30 cars when the shutdown first started. And now an ABC6 News follow-up, the battle at the border. More buses arriving this weekend in northern cities carrying dozens of migrants. But cities like New York are struggling to keep up. ABC's Alex Brochet has more.
This morning, immigration taking the political center stage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in Wisconsin overnight with this message to fellow Republicans.
This border is now an issue in these elections, and I think it's something that our candidates need to take.
DeSantis taking credit for the group of roughly 50 Venezuelan migrants flown to Martha's Vineyard. As community service workers rush to find long-term support for the migrants, Massachusetts authorities want a federal human trafficking probe into what it calls inhumane acts by DeSantis and others.
They were told there was a surprise present for them and that there would be jobs and housing awaiting for them when they arrived. This was obviously a sadistic lie.
Over the last 4 days, buses sponsored by Texas Governor Greg Abbott sending dozens of migrants to the vice president's residence. Sunday, another bus from El Paso arriving in New York City. The city's mayor accusing Abbott of refusing to coordinate.
They did not coordinate at all because I don't think it was politically expedient for them to coordinate. It was more to do this basic political showmanship that you're seeing now.
Abbott has sent some 11,000 migrants from Texas to Chicago, New York, and Washington. New York now exploring using a cruise ship to temporarily house them. And in Texas, the mayor of El Paso says the city handled approximately 2,000 migrants in a single day last week.
We don't send anyone where they don't want to go. We make sure we help them, and we put human beings and we put them on buses with food and make sure they get to their destination with, and make sure that we always continue to treat people like human beings.
ABC News pressed the White House about what it's doing about the situation in El Paso, and the press secretary says that DHS is surging resources to the region. Alex Brochet, ABC News, Washington.
And still to come on ABC6 News at noon, more from Puerto Rico, where they are without power and dealing with catastrophic flooding from Hurricane Fiona. And a final farewell for Queen Elizabeth, a ceremony that drew presidents and kings, princes and prime ministers, and common people too. We'll have the latest from London. Remembering the Queen. After 10 days of national mourning across the UK, Queen Elizabeth II has now been laid to rest. Hundreds of dignitaries and heads of state from around the world were inside Westminster Abbey for the funeral service this morning. ABC's Faith Abube is in London with the latest.
A solemn procession marking the final farewell to Queen Elizabeth II. Members from every branch of Britain's military on hand for the rare state funeral. The Queen's coffin draped with a royal standard, topped with a wreath of flowers, the imperial crown, scepter, and orb. Pallbearers drawing the gun carriage, carrying the late monarch from Westminster Hall to Westminster Abbey, the church where she was crowned and where she was married. And now, where she is eulogized with hymns and prayers. 2,000 people, including members of the royal family, heads of state, dignitaries, and everyday people in attendance.
Few leaders receive the outpouring of love that we have seen.
King Charles III and the Queen Consort leading members of the royal family and his household in procession. Even the Queen's great-grandchildren, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, walking along the Queen's final journey. The royal family visibly emotional, tears streaming down the King's face as the choir played God Save the King. Bells from London to Windsor tolling through the funeral. Authorities estimate about 1 million well-wishers crowded central London streets to see the pageantry. As the state hearse carried the Queen's coffin from Wellington Arch to Windsor Castle, the national anthem playing. Crowds of mourners watching in silence. Some clapping, a show of respect as the funeral cortege passed by. Floral tributes from the public lining the path at Windsor Castle, leading the Queen to her final resting place. Britain's longest reigning monarch reunited with her late husband, Prince Philip, laid to rest at St. George's Chapel.
And capping the deeply emotional day here in London, the United Kingdom pausing for 2 minutes after the funeral, observing a moment of silence for Her late Majesty. In London, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And still to come here on ABC6 News at noon, we're going to check in with Chelsea for her full forecast, including the start of fall later this week. We'll be right back.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Well, it's been overcast and damp for most of the morning, and that's going to continue as we head through the next few hours, with the risk of some heavier rain and isolated thunderstorms possible into the later part of the afternoon and more so into the evening. Seeing some spotty showers outside at times today. Otherwise, things are just overcast. In the spots that it's overcast, it's cool. We're only in the low to mid 60s to upper 60s for areas farthest to the east, down towards the southeast, out towards the Cape. You can see much warmer weather farther to our west, with temperatures well into the 70s in spots in western Mass and western Connecticut. And those spots that are a bit warmer, where they've seen more sunshine, are going to have more energy for some stronger storms to develop later today. Where we're stuck with the clouds right now, we are losing time to gain that energy. I think we do get into some pops of sunshine, but overall we aren't going to see any really severe storms developing as we head through later today. Just kind of some general thunderstorm activity expected. The 24-hour temperature change from yesterday at this time is significant. We're running 10 to 15 degrees cooler in most locations. Again, farther to the east, the farther west you go westerly, the same temperature as yesterday, same thing as Killingly. The dew points are also high, especially in those spots farther to the west. Again, leading to some energy for some thunderstorms. We're looking at dew points in the mid to upper 60s range outside in most locations, so certainly feeling a bit muggy outside today. Satellite radar image, a loop over the past 6 hours, shows you that we have had some scattered shower activity. Overall, we're staying dry outside for the moment, just mostly cloudy, but some sun popping through in western Mass and western Connecticut, and this is ahead of an approaching front that is going to spark some isolated rain and thunderstorms as we head through again later today. We can go through things hour by hour. This is about 3 o'clock. I do think we get into some pops of sun, which gives us a little bit of energy for some storms to develop, but it looks like most of the strong storms stay to our north and off to our west. Now that line crosses through southern New England, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, with the potential of some heavier rain and isolated thunderstorms, but then that line crosses through. Now overnight, we're going to stay mostly cloudy. We continue to stay pretty cloudy tomorrow with some lingering showers possible before we finally get that system clearing out. Wednesday is our final full day of summer. Fall officially arrives at about 9 o'clock in the evening on Thursday, but full day of summer on Wednesday, and we're back into some sunshine. I do want to update you on Hurricane Fiona, still a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds at 85 miles per hour, gusts to 105 miles per hour. Now just 10 miles to the southeast. Spots in the Dominican Republic did make landfall in the Dominican Republic early this morning after bringing just devastating rain to much of Puerto Rico. Now the track of this system is going to continue to gain some strength, going to become a major hurricane in the coming days, and this is Friday. You can see just to the west of Bermuda as Category 3 hurricane. This could potentially be devastating for Bermuda as well, continuing to lift towards the north, staying far enough out to sea for us. It certainly bears watching in the coming days and will certainly at the very least bring us some dangerous waves and rip currents at our area beaches later this week and into the weekend. Today is mostly cloudy. We get some isolated rain and thunderstorms into the afternoon and more so evening hours. Some scattered rain continues overnight, and we get the risk of some scattered showers through the day tomorrow. Temperatures in the low 70s range. 7-day forecast shows temps in the low 70s on Wednesday, our final full day of summer. And then on Thursday, a few showers to start the day. From there, we clear out. Fall begins about 9:04 p.m. on Thursday, and then almost like the flip of a switch on Friday, highs only in the low 60s with breezy conditions.
Yeah, it really is like the flip of a switch.
Truly, we hit fall, temperatures drop, humidity levels drop. Should be a nice but cool end to the work week.
All right, apple picking all the way.
Yeah, all the fall
Chelsea.
things.
All right, thank you. Still to come here on the news at noon, devastation in Puerto Rico. We'll take a look at the island after Hurricane Fiona left most without power there. And now to Puerto Rico. A state of emergency in effect there with Hurricane Fiona slamming the island. The hurricane making landfall Sunday afternoon, dumping more than 2 feet of rain, knocking out power on the island and causing widespread damage. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Catastrophic damage across Puerto Rico. Hurricane Fiona making landfall Sunday as a Category 1 storm, bringing torrential rain of more than 2 feet in some parts of the island, along with wind gusts over 100 miles per hour. Trees and power lines knocked down. Julito Cirino says he was sleeping when the winds tore the roof off his house. Fiona is the third named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, sparking a flash flood emergency overnight across Puerto Rico, with one river rising 13 feet in just 1 hour. In one mountain town, rushing water washing away this newly constructed bridge built after Hurricane Maria. Watch as power poles and a guardrail connected to the bridge are ripped from the ground. Everything connected to the structure pulled downstream. The conditions leading to an island-wide blackout, more than 1.5 million without power.
What is your biggest concern right now for Puerto Rico?
I don't want any loss of life here. Once that's taken care of, then restoring the electric service.
More than 1,000 people are in shelters right now across the island. The power company says it will be days before power is fully restored, with heavy rain still coming down. Much of the island is still under flash flood warnings. The hurricane is slowly moving out, making landfall early this morning in the Dominican Republic. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And still to come here at noon, celebrating our schools. Details on the full water fire in honor of education in Rhode Island. So Chelsea has another look at your afternoon forecast right after this. Well, finally this afternoon, a full water fire on tap for this weekend. The Rhode Island Department of Education supporting the event on Saturday. They're calling it Celebrating Educational Excellence in Rhode Island. And earlier in the afternoon, Rhode Island's Teacher of the Year award ceremony is going to take place at Memorial Park. It's always such a nice treat to have water fire all year round, but there's something about the fall ones that are a little extra.
It's like a cozy feeling
yeah,
to them,
exactly.
for sure. And it's it's never too early to look ahead to the
True.
weekend, our first fall weekend, as we're just closing out our first summer weekend. And it looks like it'll feel like fall out there heading into our upcoming weekend. But it is Monday, and we have the risk of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast later today and into the evening hours. And another round of some isolated showers possible tomorrow, so be prepared for that. You never want to drive through any flooded roadways. I don't think that we're going to deal with the big flooding that we've seen in weeks past, but the risk of some heavier rain will be possible later today. Lighter showers tomorrow, and then back to sunshine for our final full day of summer. Fall officially arrives Thursday evening, so we still have some of summer on Thursday before fall settles in.
And we've still got that stickiness out there today, too. Yeah. All right, Chelsea, thank you. And thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day, everybody.